Yes.
Assalamu
Wa alaikum salam.
When you mentioned that Imam Muhammad wrote something in the sky,
Yeah.
could you explain that?
Okay. Yes. Meaning that he wrote it for everybody to see. And it was a public, meaning that it's a public record, a public statement, public strategy. Not intended to be a secret, not intended to be treated as a mission for secret groups, okay? It was something that he wanted to be publicly supported, all right? So now I don't want to make this Ramadan session about what he said about me, but it is important that it be recognized what he said and when he said it. It's one thing for him to have said something into individuals. It's another thing for him to say something to the whole people on certain occasions, okay? So if he said something on important occasion, special gathering, then that's something that's high in his estimation, high in his mind, right? It's not something that's in the recesses of his mind, afterthought. This is something that is conscious, something that he wants others to pay attention to. And this is tantamount to Mr. Farad writing his name in the chalk on the behind the door. Okay, it's the same thing. And so somebody will hear that or see this, and they'll say, "Oh, he's putting himself with Deen." Yes, indeed, I am. Yes, indeed. You know, if I thought that my role wasn't special, I wouldn't be involved in what we're doing now. It is a special role because we are special people. And all of our leaders have to be special until the matter is concluded, until we get to the destiny, until we get to where we need to be. So all of our leaders have a role, not just me, the one after me. The next one will have a role. What was at stake now, and what the Imam predicted would be at stake now, was the purity of his message and access to it. Not just in the record itself, but also living. He knew that I would not borrow from others. He knew that I had the discipline, and he told me, he said to me privately, we're at a Wendy's near his house, and he said, Abdulmalik, he said, you know, you can't spy for me. So he just came out and said just like that, you know. There was no introduction to the conversation other than that. He said, you can't spy for me. So I didn't know exactly what he meant by that. He said, you know, some people, they can pretend like they not with me. He said, but you can't do that. He said, as soon as you come in the room, they change the channel. If they're talking bad about me, they're going to change it. They're not going to let you hear that. He said, so we are inextricably linked. These are his words. So he's influencing me now by saying that to me privately. But then on the occasion of the convention, he told me, sitting next to me, we were sitting next to each other on the stage at the convention. He said, you see all those people? So this is just him and I, you know. Now we surrounded by others up there, but he and I are talking to each other. And the record will show this. If you get it, you look at it and you'll see that he's talking to me. And this is what he's saying. He said, you see all those people out there? I said, yeah. He said, do you know that almost by yourself, you have changed them? So I didn't know, again, I didn't know what he meant by that. He said, they don't know it. He said, but I'm going to make them know it today. So that occasion. Then there was the occasion of the 25th anniversary or 25th leadership, 25th year celebration of his leadership. On that day, I was in the hotel room, and my wife, Bakira, she called me in the room, and she said, Bakira is Imam W. Mohammed's daughter. She said, Daddy wants to talk to you. And I said, okay. So they were at breakfast. She was having breakfast with him. And I knew not to, certain things were, for father and daughter, or immediate family or blood tie. I didn't insert myself into those things. So she called, she told me that. I said, okay. So I came to the, where they were in the hotel, at the restaurant in the hotel. And so Imam said to me, he said, Abdulmalik, he said, today I'd like for you to say something. And he said, I don't want to tell you what to say. He said, just prepare to say something for maybe 10 minutes or so. I said, okay. That wasn't unusual, I was his representative, and that was the standard thing, So in my mind, I was thinking of the standard things to say. When I got to the place where the room in the hotel where they were having the meeting, and they had like a big stage, like riser that was above it wasn't the same level as the people like this is. It was, you had to go up some stairs. And so when I got to the place where you walk up on the stage, one of them met me. I'm not going to say his name. One of them met me right there, and he said, you're not on the, you're not supposed to be up here. Now they knew me, all of them. They know me, they know that they risking getting in trouble by preventing me, But this one, he thought that he was right in the middle of his authority. He thought he was feeling certain that he could tell me I couldn't come up there. And that's the way he was talking to me. And I said, the Imam asked me. He said, what Imam? I said, okay. I said, your Imam and my Imam. So he said, well, you can sit up here. He said, but you're not going to see, we already had the program set and everything. I said, okay, all right. Okay. So the Imam came, and I think I was sitting in the row behind him. And he reached past one brother, and he said to me, he said, Abdulmalik, he said, did you talk today yet? I said, no. He said, okay. So you all who saw that, you know what happened. At the occasion celebrating his leadership, 25 years, in front of his people, his supporters, he introduced me to them. And if you pay careful attention to what he said, you'll understand what he was writing in the sky. That should you all lose your way, and the leaders among us corrupt themselves, here is one that you can rely on that will be safe for our purpose and that I have authorized for you. That's what he wrote. So you all see it. I saw it. And at first, I just said, well, that's too big a thing for me. I can't handle that, But he thought I could. And he told me straight one time. He said, if the people will respect what I want, there will be no debate about who should be the next leader. He told me that, just like that. I can tell you the place, Jacksonville, Florida. He told me right in his hotel room. He told me, invited me in the room. Told the other brothers, stay back. he had something he wanted to tell me. He told me that, just like that. And somebody else told me that he told them that if he gets his mind focused, then this is what I want you to tell him. And that person told me. He intended for you to be leader after him. But it's really a matter left to the people. So in other words, it's going to take the people to support the life that we want for ourselves. Even if it's a remnant. Small number. And that's what we have, small number. It's growing, but it's a small number. The majority of the people are not with us. If they were here to hear me, and their hearts are clean, and they could hear me, they would accept. But most of them have been tainted, and they don't have the courage to go beyond that because they have to live in those environments. They have to live in those cities. And if they get associated with me, then it'll be difficult for them to negotiate their way in these local messages, Oh, you with him, so, they treat them badly or look at them sideways or something like that, So I know that that's a problem. But a lot of the people, they're growing in their strength and their courage, and they see this is the right way. This is what Allah wants for us. And for all the rest of my life and the rest of his life, speaking of my life, I'm going to give support to this. Because this is what our life is supposed to be until we get to the place that we're supposed to, until we get closer. Not to say that it's going to happen in my lifetime or our lifetime, it's not. But we're going to get closer. And we're going to say to the world that we have not turned away from our leadership. We have not turned away from our better traditions. That we have held on to it in spite of, the influences and difficulties and sadness and burden, because you can get distracted from your purpose. This world and the way it is right now, with all of these confusing notions of what a human being is, can confuse the hell out of you. You can think that something is legitimate that's not, and find reasoning for it, using the world's reasoning. In moments like this, you have to have strong leadership. You have to have a voice that is speaking to the principle and can clearly identify the principle so that people can identify the principle and they can recognize it. Yes, that's right. How did I forget that? And it's as simple as that. It's not saying that I'm Imam W. Deen Mohammed. Of course I'm not. That I have his wisdom and his knowledge. I don't have any of that. But I was, and am his student, and I'm the one he authorized. I'm the one he put his hand on. Ain't no denying that. And I have my own special skills. So, and one of them is wielding the sword, and I'm good at it. And that's why they don't come at me. Because they know if they present themselves to me, that I will be patient and I will listen, while at the same time hitting them with a precise blow that will cause their whole program to fall apart. And they know it. I'm not one to mess with. Not when it comes to understanding the direction and emphasis of our life in the language of Imam W. Deen Mohammed and with the support of Islamic knowledge and discipline. I am the one that he prepared for this purpose. They can't come at me with knowledge. They can't come at me with Arabic. They can't come at me with experience. None of it. I exceed them all in all of those things, and they know it. So, what he wrote in the sky is a metaphor for a discussion on what he authorized in public view. And the best of us and the most sincere and truthful of us acknowledge it.